3.2G, we're going to finish up that question we started, which is find the number of microwaves to obtain the maximum profit for each week. Remember, we were looking at the profit curve, and if this was x, p prime of x would equal 0, and that's where we have the tangent line equals 0. Okay? So we're going to set this equal to 0, but first we need to find out what these are. Recall r of x is negative 5x squared plus 600x. That's in our notes that we just took. And c of x is 4,000 plus 33x plus 0.25x squared. Okay, so we're going to take the derivative r prime of x, and that becomes negative 10x plus 600. We're going to minus c prime of x. C prime of x is going to be 33, because this is 0, this is 33, and this becomes 0.5x plus 0.5x. Okay, doing our algebra, this negative will go here, and we end up with negative 10.5x. Then we have 600 take away 33, and that's going to be plus 567. Okay, we found p prime of x. Now we're going to set it equal to 0. In doing so, now we solve for x. So we have x equals negative 567 divided by negative 10.5, which is going to equal a positive number, and that is 54. Now, what does 54 mean? 54, what does x stand for? The number of microwaves. So 54 microwaves. Okay, now there are two things we had to do. We had to set p prime of x equal to 0, which we did. Now we have to show that, in fact, we have this going on. If this is 54, then let's choose 53, and we have to prove that p prime of 53 must be less than 0. And let's choose 55 here, and we have to prove p prime of 55 is, I'm sorry, this is less than 0. This is greater than 0, right? Because this is a positive slope, so that must be greater than 0. And this is a negative slope, so it must be less than 0. So let's go ahead and do that. We're looking at p prime of 53. So p prime of 53 ends up being 10.5. That's greater than 0, so that works out, that checks. Okay, p prime of 55, and that ends up being negative 10.5, and that's less than 0, so that checks out. All right, so what can we conclude? We can now state our statement, which is state our answer. We need to sell 54 microwaves to make a maximum profit. We need to sell 54 microwaves to make a maximum profit. Okay, we have one more question.